HDR photography is getting more popular these days, as is simulating the HDR look. I'm Axel Wilkinson for FX Home, and I want to show you how the Vibrance filter in PhotoKey 6 Pro lets you very quickly create this look while offering a great deal of control over the results. So here I have an HDR background, which I've imported, and we'll just add our foreground. And then let's add the Vibrance effect and look at the controls. The radius slider controls the size of details that will be affected. For close-up portraits, you may want to use higher values than for full shots. In all cases, pushing things to the right will give more extreme results. Raising the threshold above 0.5 will reduce the contrast, giving a surreal HDR-style appearance. While reducing the threshold will increase the contrast and saturation in the image. For this particular one, I'm going to bump it up just a bit to right in there. Iterations give you further control over the total intensity of the effect. So you can turn that down to be more subtle, or you can really crank it up. For this image, I'm going to go with a setting of 2. We've probably all seen images where HDR was overdone. So in general, it's best to apply Vibrance sparingly. Even though we aren't genuinely increasing the dynamic range of the photo, simulating the effect can still be overdone quite easily. PhotoKey 6 Pro also includes a new leave color effect. So if we turn that effect on, by default you can see it's set to a skin tone. The skin tones in this image are a bit darker than that default, so we can just use the eyedropper to select any color that we want to retain. I'm going to select a color from the arm there, and then the tolerance controls the size of the range of colors around that selected color that will be kept. So you can just increase that until the areas of color that you want to keep are intact. Edge softness fine-tunes the transition from the retained color to the desaturated portions of the image. In most cases, you'll want to keep this at the lowest setting that works. I'm just going to reset it back to the default by right-clicking the control. And then we also have a Blend with Original slider. If you turn this all the way up, you'll see there's the original image. And you can just kind of fade that other color out by adjusting that downward. You also have the option of inverting if you want to remove only one color from the image. Now we've removed those skin tones and kept everything else. And you can use these menus to control the method used for the processing. In most cases, the default settings will give the best results, but you do have some options there if you have trouble getting the results that you're after. We also have 2 variations of halftone available in PhotoKey 6 Pro. Standard halftone, which is black and white, and halftone color, which is naturally color. I'm going to add a halftone effect to the background here as well. And incidentally, all of these effects that we're looking at here are available for both the foreground and background layers: Vibrance, Leave Color, Halftone, and Halftone Color. And for both types of halftone, the controls are quite similar, although there are some minor variations. Resolution defines the size of the dots. So if we turn this very low, you can see we get very, very large dots indeed. And then as we increase that, the dots get gradually smaller, giving higher resolution to the transitions in the image. Angle rotates the invisible grid the dots are aligned to. Let's turn this back down. And there you can see that these dots are kind of in rows. And as we adjust this, those rows are rotated based on the angle we assign. Offset controls the tonal range. So as we increase this, the overall image gets brighter. Let's increase our number of dots there so we can see the picture better. And as we decrease this, the overall image gets darker. And so for just a basic tonal shift, that can be very useful. I'll reset that with a right click. Smooth Source applies a blur to the image before the halftone is generated, effectively reducing the detail in the image. Now the dots themselves are not blurred. In fact, let me zoom in. And you can see that those dots are not blurred, but the detail that they're creating is softened by that blur. I'm going to remove this smooth source so we get our detail back. In the standard halftone effect, you can assign specific colors to the dots and to the background. Let me turn our background layer off for a moment. The default black dots on a white background gives a traditional newsprint type appearance, but you can use the color pickers or the eyedroppers to select any color you want for these. Halftone color, let me turn off the halftone, turn on the halftone color. You can see this uses the original colors from the image, so there are no color pickers, but we do have 3 sets of Shift X and Shift Y controls added in this version of the effect. And as I shift the red grouping a bit to the left, you can see how those red dots are now misaligned from the other colors in the image. And then I could shift the blue-yellow group. Maybe I'll shift them up a little. And you can see how we can control the offset or the alignment of each of those color groupings. All of these new filters are available in PhotoKey 6 Pro and further expand the range of creative possibilities the software provides. To see how PhotoKey 6 Pro can improve your images, visit fxhome.com to try the free demo today.